Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. All right, my name is Captain Joel, and this is Obadiah. I'm going to start class. Not going to be too long of a class. I just wanted to, like I said, speak about what's going on in terms of dividing the nation, the secret plots, the evil schemes that's going on within this country. A lot of people might be confused, like, what the hell is Esau doing? Nobody really knows what Esau's doing. Esau is just that good. He's that good of a devil. I'll have to give it to him. Hands down, round of applause. He did a very good job within office or within his rulership reign to deceive the whole earth. And nobody plays a better role than Esau himself. Nobody. Not even we, us. We haven't even played our role the way he's done it. He's perfected his role. He's that anointed cherubim that speaks about Ezekiel 28. All right? So, other than that, without further ado, let's begin. All right? Let's begin. Let's start off with Daniel chapter 2, verse 31. Oh, you in Japan? Greetings from, okay. Hey, how's Japan? Well, hey, how's, I haven't heard anything about Japan. Seems like Japan's having a good, doing all right. I know China's economy is thriving. I think America's like, it's the great bubble where everything's screwed up over here. How's Japan? I'm asking for a friend. I might want to move out there. Yeah. Who said that? Shifra by Israel. How's Japan? I'm thinking about moving out there. I haven't heard anything about Japan. I'm tired of this place. I'm about to put me on a silk garment. I'm out. Ding, 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 ding. We out, baby. Konnichiwa. All right, Daniel chapter 2, verse 31.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 31. Mm-hmm. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image.
So Daniel is speaking about the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dream, in which he forgot. But Daniel, through the Spirit of the Most High, was able to remember the dream verbatim, and also give him the interpretation thereof. Read.
This great.
Oh, she said things are normal here. I told you. I'm telling you, everywhere things are normal, except for the United States of Babylon. In China, things are normal. Everywhere is normal, but America, for some reason, Africa. I'm talking to brothers in Africa. I'm like, yo, how things over there? They say, yo, things are normal. I said, damn. I say, I'm about to get out. As soon as they open up the airports, I'm out. I ain't coming back. I'm out, baby. Go on. I'm putting my African dashiki on. Go on.
This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
And the form thereof was terrible. Read.
Verse 32. This image head was of fine gold.
So the image head was of fine gold. Read.
His breast and his arm of silver.
And his breasts and his arms were as silver. Now, the different representation of the elements represent a major ruling empire during the captivities. Read.
His belly and his thighs of brass. Mm-hmm. His legs of iron. Mm-hmm. His feet part of iron and part of clay.
Read on.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay.
So Daniel is seeing a vision through the Spirit of the Most High of an image, a statue of a man. Iron, clay, brass, silver, and gold represented the image. So the different separations or division of the elements throughout this one image is a representation of the world ruling empires throughout our times within captivity, starting primarily from Daniel, the prophet, all the way up to this captivity that we're in today. All right? And it says, and there's a stone. Read. What verse is that?
Verse 34.
Mm-hmm.
Read again.
Yep.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands.
And it says a stone which was cut without hands. We're going to go into that stone a little later on. And watch that stone that was cut without hands. Read.
Which smote the image upon his feet.
So you got a picture. Daniel's seeing this magnificent statue. And you see a stone come out of nowhere. And it, boom, smote the image. From what?
And which smote the image upon his feet.
Why does it smote the image upon his feet? Prophetically, something's going to happen in the future. As we go down, as we start from the head all the way to the toes is going to be a representation of the last kingdom and it being smitten by our Lord and Savior. We're going to find out. Read on.
That were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay.
Sorry, is class buffering? Is class buffering right now? How's the connection for everybody? How's the connection for everybody? Shalom, shalom. How's the connection? Good on your end. Connection is great. It's good, good. Hey, a great connection. Some of you got to get better internet providers. That's what. Stop using a cheap AOL dial-up, the DSL. You better upgrade. All right. Lord's will is a little bit better. Refresher, if anything. All right. It is what it is. All right. Let's proceed forward.
Verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together.
So all the iron, the brass, the silver, and the gold, all these ruling empires that rule to this day, is all going to be broken in pieces together. No kingdom is going to stand once the true King of Kings make his return. Read.
And became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away.
So it became like the shaft of the summer. What happens to the shaft in the summertime? It burns it up. The sun. That's what's going to happen to these major kingdoms. It's going to get burnt up by thermonuclear fire. Read.
And the wind carried them away.
It's going to be dissolved. It's going to be taken out of power and rulership. Read.
That no place was found for them.
And no place was found for these rulers. Read.
And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain.
And the stone represented Christ, which we're going to find out through scriptures, that smote the image, that smote the major ruling empires, the kingdoms of the earth. It says became a great mountain, became the greatest ruling government ever to exist on the planet Earth. Became a great kingdom, the kingdom of heaven. Read.
And filled the whole world.
Because the whole world is going to be, the whole earth was given to the Israelites. It's going to fill the whole world. Christ's kingdom, Christ's government is going to stand above all governments and all kingdoms. That's why Christ is said that he saw a crown on his head. And he called him King of Kings. Why? Because he's going to be a king of many kingdoms. He's going to overthrow and rule over all major ruling empires. Ain't going to be no more Russia as a superpower, China as a superpower, North Korea. It's going to be no more the East Indians, the Africans. No. There's going to be one King of Kings, one rulership, one major government, one law, and one order. All right? Now, let's get the interpretation thereof. Read.
Verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
So this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before you, King Nebuchadnezzar. Listen, our fathers were bad. You see how we got down? The Most High, even a dream that he forgot, the Most High showed us. Daniel was a special man, a very special man, an anointed man, anointed of God. Read.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings.
Because what? Nebuchadnezzar, during his time, rulership, was a king of kings, meaning he was a king of kingdoms. He was a major ruling empire during that time period. Read.
For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom.
And people don't realize, these ruling empires don't realize that God gave them the kingdom to fulfill his will. God puts empires in power. God puts presidents in power. He gave these people a kingdom. Read.
For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven have he given into thine hand. And
All empires, all rulership, all domains, all dominions, all people were given under the hand of Nebuchadnezzar. He silenced the whole earth during his time period. Read.
And hath made thee ruler over them all, that are this head of gold.
So Nebuchadnezzar is the head of gold. He represented the head of gold, meaning God started with the vision from Daniel or the Babylonian captivity during Daniel's time. So he started with Babylon being the head of gold. Read.
Verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee.
And so it's after Nebuchadnezzar shall arise another kingdom inferior to Nebuchadnezzar or Babylon. Inferior to Babylon. Let's go to Daniel chapter 8 verse 3. So who came after Babylon? After Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. And why it says it's going to be inferior to him.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 3. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, they stood before the river a ram, which had two horns.
So the ram, which had two horns, we're going to see represented the Persian and Medo captivity. So it had two horns, two political parties, two domains within one kingdom. Read.
And the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last.
So the two horns, we're going to find out the higher came up last. One was high and the other was higher than the other. So now let's jump down to verse 20 to find out what empire was this.
Verse 20. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
So the rams which have two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. And the reason why Daniel says this second kingdom is going to be inferior unto you, it's going to be inferior because why? It has two major domains, ruling domains within one kingdom. Anytime you have two domains within one kingdom, you have difference of opinion, different ideologies, different philosophies. Represented in today's standard, that you have the political parties of America, which is the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party. Two domains. And having split parties weakens it weakens your kingdom. Why? Because one person is going to be divided. Anytime you have two political parties, two rulerships, two ruling domains within one kingdom, two different mindsets, it's going to weaken because why? Eventually, it's going to part the people in half, asunder. When you look at rulerships, a major rulership, Esau is the first kingdom really. Esau established what we read in the scriptures, which established the Senate. The Senate which is divided. Today, America took it to a whole nother level where it's divided between the Senate and the House of Representatives, which is the Congress. So you have the Senate, which is majority ruled by the Republicans, and the House of Representatives is majority ruled by Democratic parties. So two different philosophies. One is more conservative and oppose traditional values or somewhat traditional biblical values, more keeping the old ways. And Democratic Party is more so liberal. Think of liberty or freedom for the masses of people, democracy mainly, first and foremost. So, having a split kingdom and two domains within one kingdom is going to weaken it. It's going to be inferior. And that's how you see in America, little by little, start to fall. Because you cannot have a division within a nation. China is one domain. You don't see two political parties. No, this is it. This is the president. This is the king. Russia, this is what it is. Iran, Iraq, North Korea. These are all dictatorships. A kingdom is successful by dictatorship. Just like when our kingdom is set up, guess what? Our kingdom is going to be a dictatorship. It's not going to be a democracy. It's not going to be any diplomacy. No. It's going to be a dictator rule. Now let's go back. So the Persian and Medo Empire was inferior. Now let's go back to Daniel chapter 2.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior than to thee, and another third kingdom of brass,
So the third kingdom will be represent brass as an element. Read.
which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Which shall bear rule over all the earth. Let's get 1 Maccabees 1 verse 3. In the third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. What is this third kingdom that came after the Persian and Medo captivity? The Persians. You have the Greeks.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 3. And went through to the ends of the earth.
Read verse 1.
Verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, and smitten Darius king of the Persian and Medes, that he ran in his stead the first over Greece.
So Alexander he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So Greece came after the Persians and the Medes. Read.
Verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
So in Alexander won many wars and won many strongholds. Read.
And went through to the ends of the earth.
And he went through the ends of the earth. The Greeks had the earth on lock. Read.
And took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him.
And so much that the earth was quiet before Alexander. Nobody could say anything against him. He conquered everybody. If you didn't adhere to his policies or his ideologies, you were taken down. You were thrown out of rulership. Everybody had to adhere to Alexander. Read.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Now, let's go back. Go on.
Back to Daniel, verse 40. The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
So it says, for as much as the iron breaketh, verse 39 says, which shall bear, read verse 39 again.
Verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass.
So Greece represented brass, read.
Which shall bear rule over all the earth.
And Alexander had the whole earth quiet before him. He bear rule over all the earth, read.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
And the fourth kingdom will be strong as iron. What does iron represent? This military power, the military force. Iron is a force. Iron is an element which is immovable. It's hardened. It's strong. It's fierce. That's why they use iron to forge weapons. Could break things to pieces. So iron represented Rome's military force. The Roman, when you look into history, or you look at shows like Spartacus, or any time you read about the Romans, Rome was a military force to be reckoned. Rome was able to conquer Hannibal. Rome conquered their own Greece. Nobody, even when you read the history of Spartacus, they was able to overthrow the uprising and the slave revolt of Spartacus. Hannibal overthrew Hannibal, conquered and overthrew Jerusalem. Also, nobody stood a chance against the Roman army. Even the Germanic tribes. You have the Visigoths. You have the Germany. You have the Franks. You have I forgot the other names. But you have the Germanic tribes during that time period even try to go against Rome, and they were overthrew as well. So Rome was a force to be reckoned with. They were iron. Read.
Verse 40 again. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things.
So you see, iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. To this day, people are speaking about the greatness of the Roman Empire. Because why? It broke in pieces all empires, all nations. To the very fact that you're worshiping the very gods that the ancient Romans worshiped. We're taking on the policies, the politics of ancient Rome, which is based upon the Senate. You know, the Republican part, the Republic. You know, read on.
And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
And as iron breaketh all these, Rome was able to break all kingdoms, all dominions, all rulerships, and it says in pieces and a bruise. When you bruise something, you leave a mark on somebody. So if I bruise you, if I punch you in the face, I'm leaving a mark on you. The bruise represents their policies, their politics that Rome left a mark on. The bruise represents the calendar. You use the Greco-Roman, or I think it's the Greco-Roman, or I forgot what the calendar, the Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar is the one that changed the calendar. I think it's the Gregorian calendar or something like that. It's a Gregorian calendar? Yeah. So Julius Caesar is the one that erected the Gregorian calendar. So the very calendar that you use came from Rome. Or the days of the week came from Rome. The planets, they named it. Or the gods that you worship. Rome. Sunday, all these days. Christianity. Christianity was, or the Christianity that we know of today was based upon the paganism, pagan Rome integrated into the teachings of Christ during the time period of Constantine. So everything that we do is an extension of ancient Rome. That's why it says it shall bruise, it shall leave its bruise. It left its stamp, it left its mark on the world. To this day, we're keeping Roman customs. All right? Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of enmity with all that came unto them.
So it says, Judas now heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men. So that's what we wanted. Rome was a mighty nation and valiant, very courageous. Not many people could stand before Rome. Not many people at all. So now I want to go back to Daniel's. Read on. So Rome was that fourth kingdom, which was mighty and valiant, which represented iron, a force that breaketh things in pieces.
The book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 41.
2 verse 41.
2 verse 41. And whereas thou sowest the feet and toes.
Now you notice, it says, in the fourth kingdom shall be as strong for as much of the picture. And let's see. In the fourth kingdom represented is extended. So you started from the head to the belly, to the arms, to the legs, represented Rome. So now the feet and the what?
And whereas thou sowest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay.
So the feet and the toes, it is an extension from the legs, which is ancient Rome. So the feet and the toes, which we're going to find out, is a representation of America, which the legs, the feet and the toes extend from the legs, just like America extends from the Roman Empire. It takes on the Roman ideology, their philosophies, their religion, as well as their politics from ancient Rome. It's an extension of it. And it represents the feet. And notice how with this kingdom also, it says the feet and the toes, showing that what? There's going to be a division between the two. Read.
And whereas thou sowest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron.
So one is going to represent the potter's clay. It's going to take on the military force and the military power as Rome. It took on the certain aspects of Rome in terms of its military force and power, which is America. That's why America was able to gain control, access over the whole earth in terms of setting up this navy in all the sea coasts, set up this armies, different lands, colonizing Africa, just leaving this military base on every landmass. That's why America goes to the South Asian Sea, where China is. America has navy bases in Africa. America has navy bases in the Indian Ocean. America has Navy bases all throughout the whole world. So America took on the military force and power of ancient Rome. America is that iron. America is that military force that nobody messes with. A small nation, which represents 5% of the world. Read on. Go on.
But there shall be, the kingdom shall be divided.
And read it again. It says, for as much as iron, verse 41. As a part of clay and part of iron. Read that part again. 41.
Verse 41. And whereas thou sowest the feet and toes, part of powder's clay and part of iron.
So part of potter's clay. Clay is what? Clay is an element, part of the earth, which is weak. It crumbles easily. So the clay is mixed in with this iron. It's mixed in with the military power. So this is a substance. You don't mix clay with iron. Iron stands alone for itself. That's why Rome, it was iron. Rome didn't reckon with anybody. Rome told you straight up, listen, you're a slave and this is what it is. Rome was not a democracy. Rome was a dictatorship. Rome didn't play games. You have to submit to the Roman rule. Read it, look at the history, or read up books on Rome. Rome was no joke to play with. So it says, but this kingdom, what they did wrong, they did something differently. They took the iron and they mixed it with clay, which is a weakening substance, which could easily be broken. Read.
The kingdom shall be divided.
You see? The kingdom shall be divided. The kingdom shall be divided. America, Babylon the Great, shall be divided. And it be weakened. Read.
But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron.
It shall be what? Read it again.
But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron.
Even though the kingdom is going to be divided, it's going to be in America the strength of the iron. That's why Trump could speak boldly to Iran. That's why Trump could send a drone to assassinate the second in command, the general, what is his name again? Salami. Or salami sandwich, or whatever his damn name is. Nobody give a damn about the salami guy. So that's why Trump, they can send a drone to execute this guy on spot. And then Trump says, yo, if you F with us, verbatim, if you F with us, there's going to be a force. You're going to experience a force that you've never seen before. Don't mess with us. That's why Trump could start a trade war with one of the second biggest economic power on this earth and the biggest military on this earth, which is China.
Right.
That's why that's why America could tell North Korea to disarm your nuclear plants. That's why Trump could put sanctions on Iran,
right,
which has an allegiance with Russia. That's why Trump could go to Venezuela and say, or go to Baghdad, could go to Iraq, or Bush, under the Bush administration, they could go to Iraq and say they have weapons of mass destruction and just completely take over the government. That's why they could send the CIA into Egypt and take over the Egyptian government and put their puppets in place. Why? Because of the strength of the iron within this country. America is the iron, has an iron within it, which is a force to be reckoned with. America, nobody stands a chance against America's military power. That's why Christ got to come back and destroy it. That's why all the nations got to come back and destroy it. You think about it. Russia is a force to reckon. Russia is no joke. But Russia alone can't take on America. China's no joke. China alone can't take on America. Why? Because the beast live here. Because this is Satan's seat. Can't mess with Satan. This is where Satan stands. This is his dominion. This is his empire. This is where he controls. He sent out his puppets. This is his throne. He says, you know what? Satan says, where I'm going to come today? We're going to set my throne. He says, the prince of this air have nothing to do with me. So Satan says, my people, my children are in rulership. Where am I going to settle down to rule the whole world? All right, United States of America. This is my throne. It's a small place, but I'm going to send out my puppets. I'm going to send out my angels to the different locations. But this is going to be my seat. Suleimani. is the name. Suleimani. I don't care what his name is. Salami. Salamani. That's the name, Salami. Go on. Go on.
But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sowest the iron mixed with miry clay.
Read on.
Verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron.
So the toes of the feet were part of iron, read.
And part of clay.
And part of clay, read.
So the kingdom shall be partly strong.
So the kingdom, America is partly strong, but what else?
And partly broken.
And partly broken. What you're seeing is the other aspect and half that we're witnessing to this very day. Partly strong and partly broken. Because when you look at the virus was all politically motivated. One party says, you know what? We're going to release a virus so that we could gain control of the president-elect seat. We're going to keep the stimulus check. We're going to keep the stimulus from the masses so that we can manipulate the politics. So that we could say this party is responsible for the economic collapse of the nation. Right. Or this party is responsible for the recession. This party is responsible because they want to lock up. Because of their ideology, they want to shut everything down, lock everything down. But the Republican Party says no, keep everything open. Keep everything open because it's going to destroy the economy. It's going to destroy businesses. The Democratic Party says no, close everything. So you have the divide between the nation. So you have some people are staying inside, some people are going out and getting the virus and spreading that thing all over the place. Then you have one person says, you know, I want this amount of money for the stimulus check. The other person says, no, they don't need this amount of money. We need this amount of money. So after the presidency. So one person is using the stimulus check as a political, political negotiation to gain favor with the people. The other person, now it didn't work. So now they're going back and forth because of the difference of opinion. They're divided in opinion. One person is saying, oh, this Biden's won the president. We want Biden in. Biden's going to do this. Biden's going to do that. He's going to give you the stimulus check. No, we want Trump in. Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to do that. He's going to do this with the economy. Trump is going to go against, he's going to bring jobs to America again. He's going to create a trade war and increase the tariffs of the other countries. He's going to force the corporations to come back to America. Biden is going to make amends with China. He's not going to go the trade war route. And he's going to go the cheap labor route. So this country is divided politically. This country is divided religiously. Read.
Verse 43. And whereas thou sowest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
You see? And it says, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. The seed of men is going into the clay, the weakness of this nation. Democracy, or what do you call it, what? The melting pot. They have different ideologies, different concepts, different philosophies within this nation. They shall mingle themselves, even though America has the military power, but the weakness of America is this democracy. The weakness of America is it being a great melting pot. Because all philosophies, all ideologies. Read.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
But even though it's a great melting pot, even though it's mixing with miry clay, you see it. But it shall not cleave with one another. That's why you see a division within a nation. They say we're all Americans. No, we're not all Americans. You got Chinese Americans, you got Japanese Americans, you got Israelite Americans, you got African Americans, Hamitic Americans. You got all this different division of Americans. And then you have amongst the Edomite Americans, you have a Democratic Americans, and you have Republican Americans. They're going to be divided. They shall not be what?
There shall not cleave one to another.
Because you would think, wait, they're both the devil. They both know we're the Israelites. They both have the same concept. Like, the whole purpose of them is to stay in position of power and to keep us in captivity on the bottom. But for some reason, they're fighting amongst each other like little kids. No, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. No, you do this. No, you do this. You follow me. It's crazy. And it is a political game going on, but they're really divided in opinion. It's chaos. It's confusion. It's crazy what's going on. Read.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Even as iron, you cannot mix iron and clay. You cannot have a military power. You cannot be a dictatorship on the outside, but practice democracy on the inside. You cannot rule by force on the outside, but be democratic or peaceful on the inside. It doesn't work like that. You got to be the same all over. Read.
Verse 44. And in the days of the kings, of these kings, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
And in the days of these kings, in the days, meaning during the time period of the feet, during the time period of the toes, during the time period of Babylon the Great, America the Great of Babylon, America, the United States of Babylon. During the days of these kings, because why? Babylon is still in rulership. You have the Persians are still in rulership. You have the Greeks are still here. All these kings that we just read is still ruling, meaning in a separate domain, though. In the day of these kings, in the last days, read.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
Showing you that God is setting up his kingdom right now. And at the same time, in the days in the rulership of these kings, in the rulership of America, the Elamites, or East Indians, the Africans, the Chinese, all in the days of these major empire rulerships, God is setting up his kingdom. Because what you don't realize, you don't mind, officer, can you give me some water? Just right there. So what you don't realize, what you see, you look at this as some of you might have the mindset, this is nothing. What we're doing is insignificant. What we're doing is small. What you're going to realize is what you're witnessing today, what you're experiencing on a daily basis in terms of the growth of the body. You're witnessing the kingdom of heaven being set up during these major ruling empires. Yes, I'll say it again. You're in the process of the kingdom of heaven. I'll say it a third time. You're in the process in the construction of the kingdom of heaven. What you're doing right now, just like every major kingdom and rulership, it starts with what? One mindset, one ideology. In order for Alexander the Greek to gain control and dominion of the whole earth, what did he have to do? He had to mobilize and unify all the Edomite kingdoms. He had to go to Macedonia. He had to go to Galatia. He had to go to Thrace. He had to go to Asia Minor. He had to go to all the ruling Edomite kingdoms, and guess what? He had to unify each and every single one of them. And then after a while, they became the Greeks. Why? It was called Hellenization. His ideology, his philosophy, his religion, the gods that they represent was all the same. All Edomite have the same thought process. And that's, you have the Greek Empire. So start out one man. So what is God doing? In the days of these kings, in the days of these rulership, he's sending down the prophets. He's sending down Ezekiel. He's sending down Jeremiah. He's sending down Daniel. He's sending down Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He's sending down Habakkuk. He's sending down all the prophets to do what? To establish his government once again. To bring us back into the government of Christ. First of all, we got to establish our mindset. We had to, what's the word I'm looking for? Re-identify who we are as a people, and then we got to reestablish our law and order amongst us. As we're establishing government, then the King of Kings is going to come and perfect the government amongst us. After he perfects the government and teaches us his laws, which is the government, which is our constitution, then Christ is going to what? Expand his kingdom. Right. But before he can expand his kingdom, he has to set up his government, 144,000. Which is his Senate, his Congress. And then once he set up his Congress, his Senate, then what he's going to do? He's going to give him an order. All right, now he's going to set up his military base. and from his military base, can you guys hear me? 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 Y for yes and for no. Okay. All right, let's proceed forward. So, once he established government, who's going to be the rulers over his domain? Then what he's going to do? He's going to establish his military base. So the military base and the military training, just like Alexander the Greek had to do after he unified the people, then Christ's going to send out what? His military base to go what? Send out to the different nations to conquer the different kingdoms, conquer the different nations. Once he starts conquering the different nations and the different kingdoms, what is he going to do? You're going to enslave these kingdoms. You're going to put them under your dominion and your rulership. Then after you enslave them, you put them under your dominion and your rulership, you got to break them. You got to change, you got to re-identify them, reclassify them. We're going to reclassify them, re-identify them. You're not Chinese anymore. You're not Japanese anymore. You're not East Indian. You're not Japanese. You're not Africans. You're Ham. You're Shem. You're Ham. You're Elam. You're Edom. You're Moab. You're Ammon. That's how you gain power and control. You reclassify them. You re-identify them. Then after you do that, what? You give them, sorry about that. After you do that, you give them a new God, the true God. You change their ideology, just like Alexander did. Alexander changed their ideology into what? Hellenization, which is the Greek philosophy. So you change their ideology. You change their God. You give them our God. Now they got to worship your God. Now they got to adhere to your laws. Now you change their dress attire, just like we have to be changed into what? The dress attire of the Greeks. So now they got to dress with fringes on. They got to stop wearing gay clothing like togas and tight pants and all that gay stuff that they implemented into the empires. They got to stop all that gay stuff. So after you do that, then we're going to bring them into our kingdom, to build up our kingdom, to build up our walls. After you build up a wall, you're going to bring your money. You're going to bring your riches. Then we're going to tax your black asses, your red asses. Then we're going to tax you. Then you're going to bring your wealth to us. And then that's the establishment of the kingdom of heaven. Destruction of the nations. I pray I make it, man. Hey, pray for me that I make it. I'd love to see that day. I'd love to see that day. Listen, if I make it, I'm a doorman. Praise the Lord. I'll be the best damn doorman there is. If I'm a sweeper, I'll sweep the gold. I said, Lord, can I have a sprinkle? I'll sweep the dust. I said, can I just sprinkle a little bit in my hair so I can feel good? Lord's what we all make it, man. All right, read on.
Verse 44 again. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed. Read.
And the kingdom shall not be left to the other people.
The kingdom is not going to be left to the other nations. Read.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms.
All these kingdoms that Daniel mentioned that's still around today. Read.
And it shall stand forever.
Damn. No more coronaviruses. No more lockdowns. No more sicknesses. No more walking. No more broke people. I'm tired of being broke, man. It got to a point, man, I'm used to being broke. Like, I'm just tired of being broke. Go on.
Verse 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands.
So now, let's get to the interpretation of that. The stone was cut out from the what? Go on.
Cut out of the mountain without hands.
So the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands. It was cut out from the government, God's government, without hands, because Christ is the government. Nobody fashioned Christ. This world did not make Christ. I'll say it again. This world did not make Christ. Christ was sent to make this world. So the government, this world did not make him. He was not cut out of any cloth. He was solely cut out from the Most High, sent on this earth. Now it says, as the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands. Without hands. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. 28, verse 16. Yep, Isaiah 28, verse 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26,
28.
28, verse 16. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation of a stone, a tri-stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste.
So God lays in Zion a foundation. Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone. Christ is that stone, a tried stone. Because why? He was tried and found without sin. A precious cornerstone. Because why? He will be the head of the nation. A sure foundation. Because why? He's the foundation of the nation of Israel. He that believeth shall not make haste. So now let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4. And did all drink the same spiritual drink? For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ.
And the rock was Christ. That stone is Jesus Christ. Second. All right. And that stone was Christ. Now go back to Daniel's.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold.
Christ is going to destroy everyone. He's going to destroy all major ruling empires. Read.
The great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter.
So God let you know. God's so bold. He said, listen, I set you up and I'm going to destroy all of you at the same time. That's how our God operates. All you can do is just go along with the ride. Thank God you're an Israelite. That's all I think. I think the Most High, I'm an Israelite. And that's the only thing I can give thanks for. Thank God my daddy was what they'll say. They call us a nigga? I said, thank God my daddy's a nigga. Okay, you going to call us a nigga not too long. We're going to call you a nigga.
And the dream.
Oh, okay, that's it. Now, let's go. Sorry for those of you that are offended by the word. I don't know. When people say, why can't we use it and black people use it? I kind of like the word. I kind of like using the word. It's like force behind it. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but it rolls off the tongue nicely from time to time. Negro. Yes, you got to be politically correct. Negro. So it shall be divided. Now let's go to Matthew 12, verse 25.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 12, verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, is brought to sudden destruction. We just read that. As the kingdom is divided between partly miry clay and iron, so shall the kingdom be destroyed. And Christ is telling you, every kingdom that's divided against itself shall be desolate, shall be destroyed. Read.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
And what you're seeing is the cities, the states are divided against itself, divided politically, divided what should be done with the whole virus situation, divided with the everything's divided in this country. Difference of opinion. Read.
Verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan,
if Biden tries to cast out Trump, that's what's happening. If so-called President-elect Biden tries to cast out Trump, read.
He is divided against himself.
The political parties, the Democrats are divided against the Republicans. Read.
How shall then his kingdom stand?
How can America stand any further? When you see schemes and plots to overthrow your own people of your own race, your own ethnicity, because of difference of ideologies, this kingdom can't last. I love it. People like this, I wonder who's going to win. I'm like, damn. I sit back. I watch my CNBC. I said, yo, this thing is crazy. I'm like, damn, what's going on today? I said, my man did that. I said, oh, Biden, you bad. Oh, I said, oh, Trump, you badder. I said, oh, these guys are fighting against each other. Oh, cool. All right. This kingdom can't stand any longer. Read. I don't know where we are. Where are we? Yes.
And if I buy...
No, that's it. So verse 26 again.
Verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself.
So if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against itself. Now let's go to Sirach 10 verse 8.
The book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit.
It's because of unrighteous dealings, which is how they got this country, by unrighteous dealings. They did unrighteously with Gad, North American Indians. They did unrighteously by not paying us for our wages. They stole us, they raped us, they robbed us, they exploited us, they killed us, they murdered us, they indoctrinated us. Between unrighteous dealings, read.
Because the unrighteous dealings, injuries,
murder, read.
And righteous got by
deceit. And
riches got by deceit.
They stole our riches. They stole our gold. They took the gold out of our temple. They took the gold from our lands, North America, Central America. They took the gold from Africa. And riches got it by deceit. They exploited us and used us for free labor, making America the economic power of this world through free labor or capitalism. Read.
The kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Because America's unrighteous dealing is the reason why they're going to lose their kingdom. Now let's go to 1 Ezra chapter 5 verse 73. Almost done.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 5, verse 73. And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions.
So what they're doing is they're destroying themselves through their own vehicles. They don't realize it, that they're destroying themselves. What they use to destroy us is what God is going to use to destroy them. They're going to destroy themselves internally. So by that what?
And by their secret plots.
By America's secret plots, read.
And popular persuasions.
By their popular persuasion, read.
And commotions.
Their popular persuasion is what? Their popular persuasion is their media, is their television, their news station. What you're going to realize, the presidency and this whole thing that's going on, it's by popular persuasion. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this. Joe Biden did not win. The reason says by their popular persuasion. They have popularly persuaded the people by their secret plots. Their secret plots to overthrow another political office by the popular, the popular persuasion. The media is used as a persuasive device behind closed doors. I'll say it again. Joe Biden did not win anything. I'll say it a third time. Joe Biden is not even a president-elect. The whole world is deceived all over again. Read.
And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotion.
And commotion. The commotion is the uproars, the confusion, the riots. Read.
They hindered the finishing of the building.
They tried to hinder the finishing of our building, but their popular persuasion nowadays is the media. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. What is the popular persuasion? I'm going to show you, and then we're going to get to some articles. Then we're going to end class. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Be not deceived.
Be not deceived. Read.
Evil communication corrupt good manners.
Their evil don't be deceived. Their evil communications, their media, their popular persuasion corrupt good manners. They're able to manipulate and control this level of witchcraft is unheard of. I'll say it again. What you're seeing on earth it's never been done to this magnitude. I never saw this before. The crafty counsel behind it, the popular persuasion, the secret plots, is sick. Yo, I never seen this before.
Game changer.
It's game changing. I'm like, yo, this guy's a demon. That's a god. What else can this demon do? Yo, you think? Listen, now I know. I'm convinced that we haven't seen anything yet. I'm convinced this is just the start of it. We're gonna see something that we all gonna be like this. Lord, please take us now. Yo, get us out of this wicked kingdom. We can't. How much longer can we endure this? This thing is just sickening. Let's go to Revelation chapter 16, verse 13.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon.
What is the mouth of the dragon? How does the dragon speak? We know, I'm not going to go through this breakdown because we did it before. How does the dragon speak? Through their popular persuasion. How do they persuade people? Through their media. The mouth of the dragon is their media. They're able to communicate their ideologies, their philosophies, their indoctrination. They're able to communicate their politics to the people. They're able to popularly persuade the people. They're able to deceive the people by the evil communications. They're able to change the perception of your reality. They're able to change the perception of what you see in life. What you see is not real. I'll say it again. What you think you see is not what you see. It's an illusion. It's called magic or witchcraft. They're the greatest magicians in the world, in the whole earth. They're able to put something before you, but behind closed door, it's not actually what you see it is. You see it as what it is. It's real to you. It's impossible. It's magic to you. It's impossible for somebody to do that. You see David Blaine, these people, these are how they're able to do that. It's real. The brain interprets it as it being exactly what you're seeing. The brain cannot interpret any deep meaning behind it. But behind closed door, they reveal their magic trick. But behind the magic trick, you're like, yo, how do you do that? They're like, now what you're seeing today, the mouth of the dragon is the media. The whole world is happening before you. And you think it's happening before you. You think you're seeing what you're seeing. You think that things are happening as it happens in your perception of reality. But in actuality, it's not happening. In actuality, it's not going on. They have convinced you, they have altered your perception of reality and changed the chemical makeup of your brain to perceive something that's not in existence. Now, boosh, it's a magic trick. And you go on the outside of the matrix, it's not happening. It's not real. It's real to an extent, but they put it out there of real, and you take it in, you soak it in. It's like, wow, it's not happening. It's crazy. Go on.
Revelation 16, verse 13 again. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon.
The media, read.
And out of the mouth of the beast.
And out of the mouth of the white man, read.
And out of the mouth of the false prophet.
And Christianity is the false prophet. So they all have media avenues in which they're able to deceive the vast majority of the people. The mouth of the dragon is going, the mouth of the beast, and the mouth is going to the politics, their religions, and their ideologies. So those 3 things. Read on.
Verse 14. For they are the spirits of devils.
They're the spirits of devils. The mediaship is the spirit of devil. The media is the spirit of a devil. What is the spirit of a devil? It's a witchcraft. Witchcraft. The media is a spirit of devil. It's the spirit of a witchcraft. Wait, hold that. Is there anything else on that?
There is more.
Read.
Working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth.
Working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth. Whereas everybody's congratulating this guy. Everybody, China, Russia, Everybody say congratulations, President-elect Joe Biden. Read.
And of the whole world.
And the whole world believes this man has won the presidency. To the point that this guy is setting up his task force, his coronavirus task force. Read.
To gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
And it's just going to end in the destruction. Now let me get some articles now. It's getting about that time. Let me get an article. Let's see. This is for you guys. I'm going to post this in the media. Let me show you something. All right. This is the Congressional Research Service, informed the legislative debate since 1914. So this is actual public documents, law. Let's go into the law and the public documents. Now we're going to read down into November 3rd, 2020. General Election Day. General Election Day for electors for the president and vice president is set by law. 3 U.S.C. 1. As the Tuesday after the first Monday in November in presidential election years, voters cast a single vote for a joint ticket of their preferred candidates for president and vice president, right? When they do so, I'll read it slowly. When they do so, they are actually voting for the electors committed to support those candidates. I'll read it again. When voters do so, when voters vote, what are they doing? When they do so, they are actually voting for the electors committed to support those candidates. So when you vote, your popular vote, when you go to the polls to vote, you're not voting for the president or the vice president. You're voting for the electors of the Electoral College to represent you. Now, if the electors have a different opinion, Pennsylvania voted blue, was Democrats. But if the elector or the Democratic is a conservative, guess what? Because they have a conservative mindset, ideology. You could be a Democratic but still have a conservative ideology. And guess what? They're going to vote for Trump. Or you have Republicans, they're going to vote for Trump. So no matter who you vote for, you can vote for the electors. If they have a different opinion in terms of policies and politics, you don't know, because they might say, I don't like this guy Biden's politics. So I think we're going to keep Trump in office. So it says, when they do so, they are actually voting for the electors committed to support those candidates. Now I'm going to the next one. It says November 4th to December 14th, 2020. Counting popular votes and filing certificates of ascertainment. Wait a minute, this is counting popular votes and filing certificate of ascertainment. But I thought Joe Biden popular votes was counted and he won. He's the president-elect. I thought, why is he telling Trump to concede? Why is he in office? Why is CNN? Why is Washington Post? Why is Wall Street? Why is everybody saying Joe Biden won the presidency? They're still counting votes. Did you know that? Arizona, Joe Biden is they're still counting the polls for Arizona. I'm not sure you guys are watching on the news. They say that Joe Biden has 290 electoral college votes, but in Arizona, they're still counting the polls. You know that? They're still counting. Let's go. November 4th to December 14th, 2020. Following Election Day, the states are to count and certify popular vote results according to their respective statutory and procedural requirements. When the states have completed their vote counts and ascertained the official results, U.S. Code 3 U.S.C. requires the state governors to prepare, as soon as practicable, documents known as certificates of ascertainment of the vote. The certificates must list the names of the electors chosen by the voters. I'll say it again. The certificates must list the names of the electors chosen by the voters. What voters? The popular voters. The electors were chosen on November. And the number of votes received in the popular election results. Also the names of all losing candidates for the elector. It didn't say nothing about the president. There's no conversation about president right now. And I'll say it again. The certificate must list the names of the electors chosen by the voters. You voted for the electors. November 3rd was the vote for the electoral college. The electors that's going to vote, that's going to represent your state. Received by the voters in a number of votes received in the popular election results. I'll say again, in the number of votes received in the popular election results. Also the names of all those candidates of the elector and the number of votes they receive. Certificate of ascertainment, which are often signed by the governors, must carry the seal of the state. One copy is forwarded to the archivist of the United States. I don't know how to pronounce that. Archivist of the United States. January 6th now. January 6th. On January 6th or another date set by law, the Senate and House of Representatives assemble at 1 p.m. in a joint session at the Capitol in the House chamber to count the electoral votes. Now you're on January 6th when they're counting the electoral votes by the representative which you voted for November 3rd, which the electors voted for on December 14th. Now the House of Representatives and the Senate are in Capitol Hill are voted for in January 6th. The Vice President presides as President of the Senate. The Vice President opens the certificates and presents them to 4 tellers, 2 from each chamber. The tellers read and make a list of returns. When the votes have been ascertained and counted, the tellers transmit them to the Vice President. If one of the tickets have received a majority of 270, wait a minute. You got hoodwinked. We all did. We got deceived. It says, when the votes have been ascertained and counted, the tellers transmit them to the Vice President if one of the tickets have received a majority of 270 or more. Electoral votes. In the media, what do they say? Joe Biden won how many electoral college votes? On Google. 290. Why are they saying Joe Biden won 290 electoral college votes? The electors have not voted. Ooh, you're living in a bubble. Witchcraft. You're dreaming. You are in a dream. You're in an illusion. It's not real. Everything you see is not real. You live in a bubble. It's something that they made real in your mind. It's not, none of this is real. This whole world, coronavirus is real to the extent, but it's not as real as what they say it is. Ooh, propaganda. Delusion, inclusion. So it says, if one of the tickets have received a majority of 270 or more electoral votes, the Vice President announces the Vice President announces the result. Who's the Vice President? Pence. Mike Pence. Did Mike Pence announce anything? No. Why do you think Trump is not talking right now? He's in on it too. Why do you think he's not talking? Because he didn't lose. Why do you think Trump always says fake news? Because it's literally fake news. Why do you think he's not talking? He's not talking for a reason. To be honest, I'm waiting to see what the Most High is going to do. I'm really curious. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to say who. I can't tell you. Where it goes. Vice President announces the results, which shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the person, if any, elected president and vice president. If any. Now let's go to joint session. Challenges to electoral vote. Let me see if I want this. No, let's go to January 2021. Presidential inauguration. On this date, the president and vice president are to be inaugurated. The 20th Amendment set the date for inauguration as January 20, beginning in 1937. Since 1981, the ceremony has, with one exception, been held on the west front of the Capitol. The vice president takes the oath first, followed at noon by the president. That's January 20th. Now, I'm going to go to something that Candace Owens pointed out. She's a bedwitch, and her sister's lost because she's married to Esau. But she makes some good points once in a while. She's funny as hell.
Very intelligent.
She's smart, stupid.
Right.
She's very intelligently stupid. I mean, she's very intellectual on the politics and what's going on, but she's ignorant. I'll say this. I don't want to call her stupid because I was stupid too. She's ignorant to her conditions and who she is as a person, and she can still repent if the Most High deems it. I pray she does.
Right.
So this is what she posted on her Twitter. Real Candace Owens. We knew the left was stupid. We didn't know they were this stupid. But I guess after watching media propaganda effectively convinced them that women could be men. See, the media convinced that women could be men. It's in your mind. You're sinning because they put it in your mind to sin. That's sick. That women could be men could become women, men can become pregnant, and that 71 million Americans are just evil white supremacists. Well, she got that wrong. They are evil white supremacists. It isn't too hard to imagine how they actually believe Joe Biden is president-elect.
Laugh out loud.
Laugh out loud. You notice how the Republicans or I forgot what kind of boys they call them. You notice how all the white supremacists say if Trump has his presidency stolen by misdealings, what do they say? We're going to start a civil war. Why do you think they're not warring? You ever think about why the white supremacists aren't warring yet? Why do you think you don't see them marching and protesting and going and tearing things up yet? Because it hasn't been decided, and they know that. Well, you're gonna have some white supremacists that don't know. They're stupid. They're really stupid. The rednecks, they really dumb. They don't read nothing. It's like, yeah, man, Trump got cheated. Yeah, let's go kill the Proud Boys. Let's go kill his niggas. You're gonna have people that are going to do that because they're stupid.
Trailer trash.
Yeah, trailer trash. For anyone who slept through literally every civics class they ever took. Anyone who slept through literally every civics class they ever took, celebrities in Hollywood in media projections do not call elections. States do. You notice how what are you going to see in Google? They have 290 electoral college. That's a media projection. If you look under it, it says a projection. State projections. They're trying to predict who's going to win. It's a state projection. Woo! Let's go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast down, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
The devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. America was able to deceive the whole world. Let me get Revelation chapter 18, verse 23.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 23. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall no more at all in thee. Meaning, we're not going to be here anymore. The bridegroom and the bride, it's not going to be here anymore. The Israelites, along with the teachers of Christ, is no longer going to be found here. Because America is going to be destroyed thoroughly, fully. Read.
For thy merchants were the great men of the earth.
And for thy merchants, meaning thy corporations, were the great men of the earth. Read.
For by thy sorcery,
by thy sorceries, thy witchcraft, their media. Read.
Were all nations deceived.
Their sorceries, their witchcraft, their Christianity, their media, were all nations deceived. Read.
And in her,
that's it. And we're going to end it with that. All right? We're going to end it with that. So, listen. The only thing you could do is stay in the Bible. Just keep the commandments. Because listen, there's different. We're still deceived to an extent. We don't know how far this deception goes, to the point that we don't know the things that we're still doing is right or wrong. Because we perceive what we see before us. Just like in the world, you perceive white man Jesus to be real. When you read it, you can read it right before you, but it's real in your mind. So that's why you got to pray every day and pray for the mercy that Christ, the Most High in Christ, has mercy on you, because the deception goes beyond our understanding.
So, okay.
Yes, sir.
She said the states still have not called the election.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. So Candace Owens says, it says, celebrities in Hollywood and media projections do not call elections. States do. He said the states still have not called the election. I'll say again. The states still have not called the election.
Which is January 6th.
December 14th.
December 14th. Okay.
And then the Congress counts the electoral college votes. Right? So Lord's will, you was able to get something from class. All right? We're going to end class on that note. All right? Praise to the Most High. Israel Shalom is able to get something. Until I see you next time.
Short class was sweet.
Short class. All right, Israel Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Most High Christ bless.
Okay.